Lightning flashed, revealing a ruined city drowning in rain. Shattered buildings and twisted metal testified to a violent end. A lone spire, a ghost of the past, pierced the storm clouds. A figure, cloaked in ornate attire, held a gleaming dagger, its blade reflecting a strange, purple light. The words echoed, a declaration aimed at Qin Feng. "You're really something." The tone, laced with an ambiguous blend of admiration and perhaps a hint of something darker, hung in the air, leaving Qin Feng's reaction suspended. A scarred giant, victor of the ruined city, was robbed of the Eye of Judgment. The battle for the artifact had just begun. Betrayed and bleeding, the knight gasped, his voice a choked whisper. Why? Why betray me at a time like this? His words, a raw mix of pain and disbelief, hung heavy in the air. The question left unanswered. The scene was a tableau of betrayal, the once loyal ally now the source of his demise, the unspoken why resonating with the finality of a death blow. A determined figure, poised and striking, declared, "I'm your brother, Qin Xiao Yu." The words, sharp and direct, hung in the charged atmosphere, the revelation hanging heavy amidst unspoken tensions. The name, Qin Xiao Yu, resonated with a sense of urgent familiarity, a plea disguised as a statement. "Brother?" Qin Feng was met not with warmth, but with cruel laughter and a venomous truth. "You're just an adopted child, not my blood." The bond shattered, leaving only a bitter sting. A sharp rebuke cut through the tension. "Xiao Yu, that's no way to talk." Brother Songfell's disapproval hung in the air, a stark contrast to Xiao Yu's cutting remark. "This so-called brother of mine sure came in handy." The dialogue revealed a complex dynamic, a mix of veiled hostility and a strategic reliance on family ties, suggesting a manipulative undercurrent in their interaction. A cruel smile played on her lips as she delivered the final blow. "Qin Feng, I really should thank you. Without you, Song Fei and I would have never gotten this divine artifact." The betrayal was laid bare, a calculated move to steal both the artifact and his life. "To completely drain your lifespan in one go, I went through great lengths to obtain the soul-stealing blade that's now stabbed into your body." The revelation twisted the knife, and the question hung in the air. "So, do you like my parting gift?" Betrayal cut deep as Qin Feng recounted his sacrifices for his sister, Xiao Yu. Tears and blood marked his face, a testament to his shattered trust. "I misjudged you," he choked out, the pain of her betrayal a wound deeper than any blade. Qin Feng's past sacrifices were twisted into a cruel accusation. His sister, cold and calculating, declared him useless now that she possessed the divine artifact. His protection was no longer needed, his value reduced to nothing. The final blow was delivered with a chilling pronouncement. "Qin Feng, just die in peace already. I will take good care of Xiao Yu for you." His words, meant to be a final taunt, hung in the air alongside the Chinese characters Zhan Du, trembling, a subtle hint of his own inner turmoil. The attack was swift, a decisive strike meant to end Qin Feng's life. But the promise to care for Xiao Yu echoed with a dark undertone, hinting at a manipulative facade beneath the veneer of concern. A guttural cry, "Gah!" ripped through the air, the sound raw and desperate. Despite his wounds, a defiance burned in his eyes. "Even if I die," he rasped, "I won't let you get away with this." The words, fueled by pain and rage, echoed his unwavering resolve. He would not yield, even in the face of death. Against a crimson sky streaked with falling rain, two figures clashed on a jagged precipice. One, hunched and wounded, struggled to wield a massive sword embedded in the rock, while the other, clad in a tattered cape, lunged with a smaller blade. The scene was a brutal tableau of desperation and resolve, a final stand against overwhelming odds. Two figures faced a monstrous shadow against a backdrop of swirling purples and blues. One, wielding a staff, stood poised while the other, clad in shining armor, charged with a shield. Above them, stark white text revealed the cruel economy of this world. The only currency in the game is lifespan. Dying causes a loss of lifespan, while killing monsters grants lifespan. A battle for survival, where time itself was the ultimate prize. In a world reshaped by the game, The lines between reality and the virtual blurred. Players could manifest their in-game powers, tearing tanks apart, slicing through planes, and even withstanding nuclear blasts. The strong ruled, their power drawn from a currency of lifespans. As the boundaries of existence shattered in a blinding the world was overrun by monstrous creatures, plunging it into chaos. Yet a figure stood defiant, their journey a testament to survival. They had fought alongside their sister, overcoming countless hardships to become one of the top 100 global powerhouses, a beacon of resilience in a world gone mad. A surge of triumph washed over him, tears tracing paths down his face as he gasped, "I obtained the divine artifact, Eye of Judgment. At last I had the qualifications to reach the peak." Below, two distant figures stood amidst ruins, their forms dwarfed by the enormity of the accomplishment. Golden lines of energy pulsed from him, a visual testament to the power he now wielded. In the aftermath, a heavy silence fell, broken only by the words, "But who would have thought?" A warrior in shining armor looked on in shock and grief, while a wounded figure huddled nearby. Rain washed over the scene, a silent witness to a revelation, a betrayal, or perhaps a shocking truth. A guttural scream, a primal ripped through the rain-soaked air as the silhouetted figure stood silhouetted against a crimson glow. The text painted a stark truth. The price of my success was the betrayal of my only family. Their triumph was born from a devastating loss, the cost of power measured in fractured bonds and agonizing solitude. The speaker refused to accept their fate, their voice rising in defiance against the crushing weight of their perceived failures. Their efforts, their struggles, had seemingly paved the way for another success, leaving them with nothing but bitter disillusionment. But even in their despair, a spark of resistance ignited, a refusal to be defined by their perceived futility. A broken vow hung in the air. "I refuse to accept this." His face lay marred by injury, an echo of the devastation around him. The words, a testament to his unwillingness to yield, faded into a whisper of what might have been, "If I could live again." The lingering phrase left a haunting sense of regret, a yearning for a chance to rewrite his story, even as his strength waned. The image only shows the text, "I would only fight for myself." There are no visual elements to add a narrative. Therefore, I can't fulfill your request. The figure lay shrouded in the soft folds of a blanket, their face peaceful in slumber. Yet below, another image revealed a stark contrast. Eyes snapped open, wide and alert, the serene facade shattered by a sudden awakening. The tranquility of sleep gave way to a moment of sharp awareness, a transition that hinted at a mind still wrestling with unrest, even in slumber. The figure sat bolt upright in bed, eyes wide with a disoriented confusion. A speech bubble punctuated the silence. Exclamation mark. His gaze swept the room, taking in the unfamiliar surroundings as he murmured, "This, where is this? The real world?" The questions hung heavy in the air, a stark contrast to the quiet darkness outside the window. It was a moment of jarring awakening, a sudden break from one reality into another, leaving him adrift and uncertain. Confusion gripped him as he awoke in an unfamiliar room, phone clutched in his hand. "Wasn't I already dead?" he gasped, the reality of 2025 clashing with his memories. Somehow he had returned from death, thrust into a future he didn't understand. A figure sat silhouetted against the pane of a window, his reflection blurred by the city lights beyond. The words, "Could it be?" hung in the air, a thought bubble against the backdrop of the darkened cityscape. His gaze was fixed on the world outside, his expression unreadable, suggesting a moment of stunned realization or a sudden surge of hope in the face of the unfamiliar. The text floating above a sprawling cityscape declared, "I've been reborn." A jarring thought interrupted the tranquil night scene, a sudden return. Further down, another declaration stated, "Back to 9 years ago, the day the godforsaken game descended." Time had seemingly lurched backwards, a rewind to the moment that had forever altered the world. She charged forward, eyes fierce, delivering a powerful kick that shook the air. Her hair and uniform whipped with the motion, radiating unstoppable confidence and force. Confidence. The scene unfolded within the familiar confines of a home, a figure holding a mug as a voice echoed through the space. Qin Fang, you really are home. The words were followed by an accusatory demand. Why didn't you answer my call? The air was charged, a mix of relief at Qin Feng's return and a simmering frustration. The unanswered call hung heavy, a question left hanging in the quiet room. The air crackled with tension as Qin Xiaoyu and Qin Feng faced off. As expected, on the day the Forsaken game descended, Qin Xiaoyu had a big fight with me because of Song Fei, the text declared, a prelude to the unfolding argument. A discarded object lay between them, a silent testament to the rising anger. Xiaoyu's outburst followed, her words sharp. You don't even understand how important it was for me to go support him this time. The conflict was immediate, the clash a harbinger of the chaos that was to come. The air thrummed with unspoken accusations. Before the game's descent, Song Fei, a once famous underground idol, held a sway over Qin Xiaoyu, his obsessed fan. Yet beneath the idol's charming facade lurked a dark secret, a complete scumbag who manipulated his female fans. The unspoken tension hinted at a deeper conflict, the image of Song Fei, a flashpoint for hidden resentments, a catalyst for the looming confrontation between the siblings. A tirade erupted, a barrage of angry words flung across the space. Hey, are you deaf? I'm talking to you. Why are you acting like you can't hear me? The speaker, fueled by rage, berated the silent figure. The blame was placed squarely. It's all because of you that my brother dropped off the top rank this month. A demand followed, laced with a veiled threat. If you don't give me money to rank up, I'll... The implicit threat hung heavy in the air, a promise of retribution unless demands were met. The figure on the right recoiled, shielding themselves from an unseen force as the other figure's hand lashed out in a swift, sharp motion. A burst of energy, represented by radiating lines of light, erupted from the figure on the left, an indication of power unleashed. The clash was sudden and decisive, the energy suggesting a powerful blow or a barrier being broken. The air crackled with a silent question. As the scene exploded into disarray, a figure lay sprawled on the floor, their body bent at an unnatural angle, the aftermath of a violent altercation. Displaced objects littered the room, a testament to the force of the unseen action. A figure stood nearby, seemingly surveying the scene, the stark contrast between their composed posture and the chaos around them suggesting a sudden and brutal shift in the balance of power. A stunned silence followed the impact as Qin Feng's words echoed. Qin Feng, you actually hit me. Her eyes widened in disbelief, her voice a mix of shock and outrage. Yet Qin Feng remained unmoved, his expression resolute. Qin Xiaoyu, I don't have the time or mood to argue with you today. The exchange revealed a stark contrast, the blow leaving one reeling while the other remained focused and unyielding. A stern warning punctuated the tense atmosphere, a threat hanging heavy in the air. Yet it was followed by a revelation, a declaration of sacrifice and an unspoken accusation. The money, a symbol of their shared past, became a focal point for the simmering conflict between them. The words lingered in the air, a final declaration of intent. I'll return it all to you today. The phrase was a culmination of the previous revelation, a promise to restore what was rightfully theirs, a closing of a long-standing chapter. It was a moment of restitution, a chance to right a perceived wrong, to finally settle the score. In a moment of firm resolve, the figure declared, "For our parents' sake, I won't stoop to your level." The words were a line drawn in the sand, a refusal to descend into the chaos of conflict. Then a shift in tone, a declaration of intent. But listen up from now on, a clear warning to those within earshot. A message was about to be delivered, a pivotal turning point in the unfolding story. A declaration echoed, stark and final. I, Qin Feng, will have no sister like you. The words were a brutal severance, a decisive end to a broken bond. The scene crackled with unspoken tension, the implication heavy. This was a point of no return. In a moment of poignant reflection, the figure recounted, "In my past life, to protect Qin Xiaoyu, I missed too many opportunities. The regret was palpable, a lingering weight from a previous existence. Too many secret treasures and dungeons that needed risk-taking exploration, I gave up on." The narrative continued. The image painted a picture of sacrifice, of opportunities foregone in the pursuit of another's safety, a path paved with what-ifs and a sense of lost potential. The scene was charged with a quiet contemplation, the image a stark display of choices. A cup of liquid rested to the left, serene and undisturbed, while a hand held two small pills, labeled clearly, "sleeping pills." The question hung in the air. I'm also curious, without this burden, how far can I go? The words spoke of an internal conflict, a yearning for freedom from an unspecified burden, and a morbid curiosity about the limits they could reach without it. The figure raised a cup to their lips, taking a deliberate sip. The accompanying text revealed a firm resolution, a plan forged in the fires of a past life. This time, I will use my understanding of the game from my past life to stay ahead of everyone. The words were a declaration of intent, a promise to leverage past knowledge to shape their present, a move to seize control and outmaneuver all competition. The air hung thick with a final decree. "Qin Xiao Yu, you're on your own now." A sharp, decisive sound, "ta," punctuated the silence like a door slammed shut. Then a shift, a darkening. "And Song Fei, I'll personally take your head." The words were a stark declaration of vengeance, the threat amplified by the ominous purple glow emanating from the figure. The message was clear. Qin Xiaoyu was abandoned, and Song Fei was marked for death. In the stark glow of an ethereal gateway, the figure stood poised, a solitary silhouette against the swirling blue energy. Wisps of light danced around him, leading the eye upwards toward the luminous archway. It was a moment of transition, a step into the unknown, framed by the otherworldly light that hinted at a portal to another realm. The figure gazed towards the glowing archway, a wistful expression on their face. A thought bubble lingered above. The career choice hall. I really miss it. A recollection of the past followed. I remember the first time I came here. I was so nervous that it took me several hours to complete my career choice and leave. But a newfound determination surfaced. This time, I need to be quicker. The scene depicted a journey back to a pivotal place, a confrontation with a memory, and a resolve to move forward with renewed purpose. In a moment of reflection, the figure acknowledged, "In my past life, I chose the warrior to protect Qin Xiaoyu." A hint of regret laced their words. The warrior wasn't weak, but it's not the right fit for me anymore. The realization sparked a new perspective. Without Qin Xiaoyu's burden, I'll be able to clear solo much faster. The scene was a turning point, a recognition of past limitations, and a resolve to forge a new path, unshackled from previous obligations. A moment of contemplation hung in the air, the figure's gaze fixed on an unseen horizon. Words formed in their mind, an assessment of the situation. Mobility and reaction time are the most important. A decision was reached, a conviction formed. It's decided. The statement rang with finality, marking a pivotal moment of choice and a commitment to a new direction. In a swirl of spectral blue, one figure stood poised, facing a looming shadow of their past self. A declaration rang out, a defiant shift in destiny. "This life, I'll choose assassin." The words were a stark rejection of the former path, a decisive step towards a new identity. The ethereal light framed the transformation, a rebirth from warrior to shadow, a pledge to embrace the path of the assassin. The message glowed on the screen, a triumphant proclamation. Divine artifact, Eye of Judgment, has been successfully bound. A question mark lingered above the figure, a silent exclamation mark. They stood bathed in an otherworldly blue light, their gaze fixed on the notification, the successful binding of the artifact a pivotal moment, yet the question mark betraying a flicker of disbelief or uncertainty. The Eye of Judgment flickered to life, an ethereal beacon against a backdrop of swirling energy. A message blared across the scene. Eye of Judgment activated. Below, text scrolled upwards, revealing its power. Unique attribute, authority of judgment, and authority. The figure's eyes widened with a sudden realization, the words tumbling from their lips. The eye of judgment has bound itself to me after my rebirth. A sense of understanding washed over them. So that's how it is. As long as the artifact recognizes its master, even if it's stolen, it's useless. A final thought lingered in the air, a potential explanation for their miraculous return. Perhaps I was reborn because of it. A strange transformation gripped the figure, tendrils of inky darkness swirling and twisting around their form. A question lingered in the air, a bewildered floating above their head. The figure seemed to be undergoing a metamorphosis, the tendrils both beautiful and menacing, hinting at a power unleashed or a loss of control. A surge of power pulsed through the figure, tendrils of darkness swirling and twisting around their form, their edges sharp against the pale background. Above, a declaration hung in the air. Congratulations! You have gained a hidden profession. The moment was one of transformation, a shift from the familiar into something unknown, something potent and perhaps dangerous, hinted at by the shadows engulfing the figure. The congratulations were juxtaposed against the menacing display of power, a strange mix of triumph and unease. A declaration echoed, stark and final. Specialization complete. The figure's hand emerged from a mass of swirling darkness, pale and distinct against the inky tendrils. It was a moment of transformation, the completion of a process, a shift in identity marked by the emergence of a human element against the encroaching shadow. The message hung in the air, a sign of advancement, yet the stark contrast between the hand and the darkness hinted at a potential loss, a sacrifice made in the pursuit of power. The figure stood silhouetted against a backdrop of swirling blue energy, a stark contrast between their pale hand reaching forward and the tendrils of darkness coiling around their form. It was a moment of transformation, a metamorphosis hinted at by the emerging white hair and the ominous red stripe bisecting their torso. The figure seemed to be caught between two worlds, light and shadow, humanity and something more sinister, a struggle embodied in the visual tension of the scene. The figure stood amidst swirling tendrils of darkness, the text floating beside them declaring, "Shadow, so this is the highest tier hidden profession for assassins." A sense of exhilaration resonated in their words. Completely different from the warrior I chose in my previous life. Just gaining this profession gives me such power. The scene was a visual testament to a transformation, a shift from one path to another, a newfound power revealed in the interplay of light and shadow. The figure's brow furrowed in concentration, eyes narrowed as if piecing together a puzzle. Thoughts surfaced in a speech bubble. Every profession has a very small chance of unlocking its hidden higher-tier profession, and the authority of judgment actually makes this probability a certainty. What exactly is it? The statement mingled with a question, hinting at a growing understanding, yet a lingering mystery. The figure pondered the nature of this authority of judgment, its power to guarantee the unlock of hidden potential, a subject of deep curiosity. The figure stood bathed in an eerie purple glow, a sense of wonder mixing with dread. Text floated in their periphery, revealing the power they now wielded. Authority of judgment, the most genuine and ancient primal authority in the universe. And its power surpasses rules and order. You temporarily cannot actively activate this authority, as you do not possess infinity, but its passive effect is active. A gasp escaped their lips, a mix of awe and trepidation. Ediurm. And a primal authority that surpasses rules and order? The scene was a confrontation with immense power, a realization that they now commanded something ancient and beyond comprehension, its implications both thrilling and terrifying. In the desolate expanse of the gods' abandoned realm, a realization dawned. A voice echoed the trials of a past life. In my previous life, it wasn't until the 7th year, after the god-forsaken game descended, that a strong player managed to leave the gods' abandoned realm and reach the realm of order. Only then did humanity learn about the existence of order's power. The harsh truth resonated. Even then, the figure's eyes narrowed in determination, a spark of ambition burning within them. The text echoed their newfound resolve. The primal authority that surpasses order and rules. A path forward emerged. As long as I can leave the gods' abandoned realm and reach the realm of order to obtain divinity, I can activate this authority. The realization ignited a new goal. Looks like I have another goal this life. The image captured a pivotal moment, a commitment to a greater purpose, a vow to unlock the full potential of the primal authority and transcend the boundaries of their current existence. A screen hovered before the figure, a stark declaration in bold text. Profession choice complete. Please enter your game alias. The figure, bathed in a soft glow, paused in contemplation, a single thought echoing. Game alias. Huh. The scene was a moment of decision, a step into a new virtual identity, the choice of a name hinting at the figure's personality or the journey ahead. A moment of decision hovered in the air, a name bubbling to the surface. Since my profession is born from the shadow, I'll go with Shadow. The words were both explanation and proclamation, a naming ceremony for a newly forged identity. The figure, their hand outstretched towards a glowing screen, chose a moniker as a reflection of their newfound power. Their path intertwined with the darkness from which they emerged. The name Shadow was a symbolic embodiment of their profession, a self-designation that hinted at both their abilities and the mystery surrounding them. The screen affirmed their new identity. Your alias is Shadow. With a sense of finality, the figure was transported, entering the gods' abandoned realm. A chilling warning flashed before their eyes. This is a ruined land, filled with countless monsters. Be careful, they are always ready to tear you apart and steal your lifespan. The objective was clear. Leave the town, kill monsters, and you will earn tradable lifespan. The figure, now known as Shadow, stepped into a dangerous world, a land of ruins and monstrous threats, their journey driven by the acquisition of lifespan and the looming threat of its theft. The figure stood amidst the ruins of Shelltown, a place of temporary safety. Warnings echoed in their mind. But if you die in the game, you will lose half your lifespan, both tradable and non-tradable. Despite the surrounding peace, this area, Shelltown, is a safe zone. There are no monsters here, and players cannot attack each other. Lifespan lost speed, 1x. A sense of unease lingered. The town was a haven, but beyond its walls lay a world where death was a costly affair, a reminder of the stakes involved in this dangerous game. The figure prepared to venture out, knowing their lifespan was a precious commodity, both to trade and to lose. Several voices echoed with confusion and disbelief, a cacophony of disorientation. Hey, where is this place? What profession alias? One figure questioned, while another wondered, I just got off my night shift and lay down. Am I hallucinating? The growing crowd raised further questions. Have so many people been pulled into the game already? And I don't know, I just ate all night and finally fell asleep. Then how did I end up here? A sense of dread permeated the air as a realization struck one of them. It hurts. This isn't a dream. It seems we've been pulled into some kind of game. The collective confusion turned into a shared fear, a dawning awareness that they were trapped within a reality they did not understand. The air crackled with anticipation as whispers spread. Soon, powerful figures from various countries will appear one after another, reshaping the order of this world. A hooded figure stood amidst a gathering crowd, their unique silhouette drawing curious glances. What profession is that? Why does it look so different from ours? One person inquired. Speculation arose. I don't know, but from the dagger in her hand, he's probably an assassin. Envy mixed with determination. If we want to be ahead of them, we can't wait. Practice doesn't wait for anyone. One voice, bold and proud, declared, I'm an assassin too, but how come I'm not this cool? Look, he even has skills. The scene was a mix of awe, wonder, and a burning desire to compete as a new era dawned with powerful figures entering the stage.
The air crackled with tension as figures lay scattered on the ground, a scene of disarray under a swirling portal of energy. Above, a figure stood cloaked in shadow, a silent observer of the chaos below. A cry echoed, "Ouch!" A figure on the ground writhed in pain, exclaiming, "Ah, it hurts! Hump go, if we die, we return to the town." The scene captured a moment of brutal initiation, a harsh introduction to the dangers of the realm. The hooded figure remained aloof, their presence hinting at a deeper mystery, a silent observer of the newcomer's struggle. Panic set in as the players faced the monstrous threat. A barrage of cries pierced the air. "Those wild monsters are way too strong. One bite and we're half dead. How can we fight it?" one cried, while another questioned in disbelief. "Isn't that just a weak level 1 crawler? Why did we only manage to take a third of its health together?" The horror of their situation was palpable as one player screamed in anguish, "Ah ha! My lifespan! I lost half of it!" The scene depicted the brutal reality of the game, where even seemingly weak monsters posed a deadly threat, and the loss of lifespan was a devastating blow. The blonde figure sat slumped on the ground, a hand pressed to her temple, overwhelmed by the situation. "Sister Lizzie, what should we do now?" a voice pleaded from beside her. The woman simply groaned, a low "ugh" escaping her lips. She was clearly at a loss, the weight of their predicament bearing down on her. The scene captured a moment of exhaustion and uncertainty, the blonde figure seemingly unable to provide answers, leaving the others in a state of helpless anticipation. The figure turned to a companion, their voice filled with observation. "Archers start with short bows. Looks like she's a hidden class too." The companion, their eyes wide with surprise, offered a simple exclamation. The two figures stood against a backdrop of buildings, their attention focused on a figure beyond the frame, their words hinting at hidden potential and a unique character class. A plea hung in the air. "Big brother, you seem to be a hidden class too. Want to team up with us?" The blonde figure offered a hopeful hand, elaborating, "The monsters outside are really strong. We can't handle them alone. Our team has been wiped out once. We have experience." A dry response cut through the air. "Ha! Is it the experience from being killed?" The figure, cloaked in darkness, turned away, offering a curt, "No need." The scene captured a moment of rejection, the offer of alliance dismissed, the figure choosing to face the dangers of the world alone. The air crackled with disbelief as the group watched the cloaked figure prepare to depart. One speaker scoffed, "Not talking, pretending to be a pro? All 5 of us couldn't beat them, and you think you can do it alone?" Another chimed in, "This is hilarious. We've all said how dangerous it is outside, yet you are going alone, seeking death." A final plea was offered. "Don't be like that. They're the noble hidden class, and an assassin type if you—" Their words trailed off, a mix of concern and derision hanging in the air as the figure, unfazed by their doubts, prepared to face the dangers alone. The blonde figure's gaze narrowed, a hint of skepticism in their expression. A thought bubble materialized above them. Alias, shadow? Followed by a derisive, "Tch, really acting high." The figure's disbelief was evident, their words dripping with sarcasm as they questioned the cloaked figure's chosen moniker and perceived arrogance. The scene was charged with tension, a clash of personalities as one figure openly mocked the other's chosen persona and perceived haughtiness. The cloaked figure walked away, their form receding into the distance. Behind them, 2 figures whispered, their eyes following with a mix of curiosity and determination. "Let's go. Let's follow and see what skills he have. Maybe we can get some new info on monsters." Their whispered plan was clear, to trail the figure and observe their abilities, hoping to gain an advantage in the dangerous world they found themselves in. The cloaked figure's departure sparked a chase, a silent pursuit fueled by the desire for knowledge and the need for survival. As the cloaked figure walked away, their form receding into the distance, a thought bubbled up within the group. And maybe,
The cloaked figure strode into the desolate landscape, their billowing cloak a stark contrast against the ruined buildings and smoke-filled sky. They moved with a sense of purpose, a solitary figure venturing into the unknown. The journey was fraught with danger, a path chosen by the figure, leaving behind the relative safety of their starting point. The scene hinted at a solitary quest, a confrontation with the harsh realities of the world beyond the town. The cloaked figure stood at the edge of a desolate path, a sense of foreboding filling the air. The land abandoned by the gods. This place is far too eerie, far too perilous. A voice echoed in the distance, a note of resilience. I don't know why I ended up here, but with years of online gaming experience, I quickly formed a party. The scene captured a contrast, the ominous landscape juxtaposed with the determination to survive. The looming danger met with the resourceful spirit of a gamer who quickly adapted to this new reality by gathering allies. The air crackled with disbelief as the group recoiled from the monstrous sight. A chilling realization struck them. Yet, the very first monster we encountered outside the beginner village wiped us out. The creature, a grotesque figure with glowing red eyes, loomed before them, its presence a stark testament to their utter defeat. That was absolutely not an enemy a level 1 player could defeat. The scene captured their despair, the realization that they were woefully unprepared for the true dangers of this world. The group watched the cloaked figure with a mixture of fear and envy. His unique weapon, superior speed, and distinct outfit set him apart. They questioned his abilities, comparing his short blade to their daggers and his agility to their own. The figure's unusual traits fueled their paranoia, hinting at hidden power or a special class. The group's attention was riveted on the retreating figure, a sense of intrigue swirling amongst them. This shadow player seems highly unusual, one observed, their eyes narrowed in contemplation. A plan took shape. Following him might lead to crucial intel. The figure's departure was not the end of the story, but the beginning of a silent pursuit, a quest for knowledge fueled by the cloaked figure's unique aura. They were determined to unravel the secrets behind the shadow player, hoping to glean valuable information that could give them an advantage in this perilous world. The figure stood with their back turned, a dark silhouette framed against a brooding sky. Their head was turned in profile, revealing a flash of silver hair and a piercing yellow eye. A strange glyph floated beside them, an indecipherable symbol adding to the mystery surrounding the figure. It was a moment of quiet contemplation, a silent vigil against an unseen threat. The figure's intense gaze hinting at a hidden danger lurking just beyond the frame. The figure remained still, their forms shrouded in shadow and tendrils of dark energy. A single thought pulsed through their mind. Did he notice me? The words shadow sneak glowed nearby, a testament to their stealth. The air was charged with tension, a moment of hidden observation as the figure held their breath, hoping their presence remained undetected. The air shimmered for a brief moment before the figure disappeared completely, leaving only faint traces of glowing particles in his wake. The stunned onlookers, their eyes wide with disbelief, frantically searched for any sign of him. "Where did he go?" one of them exclaimed, scanning the empty space. Another gasped, realization dawning. "He vanished into thin air?" Panic set in as they struggled to comprehend what had just happened. This must be a stealth skill, a starting skill that grants invisibility. What kind of overpowered class is this? The thought sent a chill down their spines. If this was just the beginning, what else was he capable of? The cloaked figure stood at the edge of the town, a stark contrast to the bustling activity behind them. Frustration hung in the air. "T.S. Whatever, let's head back to town and search for ways to improve ourselves." A note of caution followed. "It's too dangerous out here. We've already died once, and our remaining lifespan has been halved." A sense of hope lingered. "Yeah, maybe there are hidden rewards like treasure chests. Let's see if we can find any impacts." The group turned away, their quest for knowledge and power taking them back to the relative safety of the town, their minds buzzing with the possibilities of hidden treasures and helpful NPCs.